20 years ago, my journey in music began, not realizing that the path that I took would forever redefine my understanding of success and creative expression. From local freestyle battles as a young rapper to playing my first notes on the piano, making my first beats, all the way up to making 6 figures a year as a music producer, building my own studios, performing for thousands of people in live shows, and having millions of people from all over the world listen to my music. Today, I'm here to take you on a ride, to tell you a story that's not just mine, but could very well be yours. I promise you, if it comes to a professional career as a music producer, musician, or even artist, this video will open your eyes to a new perspective that will help you navigate the complex but exciting journey of pursuing a life-changing career in music. So let's jump in. Now, to truly grasp this, let me guide you on a unique expedition through what I call the creative solar system. Now, I made this because this is the ideal metaphor to illustrate your journey through a galaxy of creativity where basically each star and planet signifies a distinct stage, obstacle, or achievement in your music career, starting with the very essence of why we are here today. You see, regardless of what you're doing or what I'm doing, we all come from the same place. The sun here symbolizes music as the center where pretty much everything evolves around. Without it, the planets here cannot even exist. You see, at some point in your life, you had your first introduction to music. Maybe your parents were musicians, maybe they put you on piano lessons as a kid, maybe you had like a favorite artist that you looked up to, or maybe you played music in church. Maybe you had a friend in high school who hooked you up with a cracked version of FL Studio. We all got to start somewhere, right? The point is, this is where your story began. And from this point on, you started exploring the creative worlds. You see, the planets in this exploration orbit, they symbolize the early stages of your career, the path that you were drawn towards based on your first touch with music. For example, you could be starting off pursuing interest in becoming an artist. You have this whole world that opens up for you. You start writing songs, you get your first mic to record yourself. I actually kept my mic because this is pretty much where it all started for me. Now, obviously, my first song sucked, which is probably the case for most people. But after watching a few tutorials, I got better. You see, at this point, it's all about the exploration. Now, for others, you might have been more drawn towards musicianship. In my case, many of my friends were musicians playing in bands, and I wanted to be part of that. So that's one reason why I started picking up playing the piano. So when you pick up an instrument, you put in the practice hours to improve your skills. You learn some basic music theory. And then when you get better, you may get an opportunity to play in a band. You start doing rehearsals, jam sessions, and if you're lucky, you get to play an actual gig at a local bar or event. Obviously not to get paid, it's just for promotion, right? Now, then there is another world of music production, and on this world, you'll learn all about using a DAW like FL Studio, which probably sucks in the beginning because it feels like rocket science to you. Maybe you get yourself a nice little MIDI keyboard, you learn how to make beats, you explore different styles of music, you're probably gonna spend hours trying to get your kicks and snares to sound right, you watch some tutorials to get better at mixing, and in the process, maybe you hooked up with a friend who is a rapper or a singer and you do some songs together, which probably aren't that good either. But you see, that is not the point of it all. You see, while exploring the different worlds in this orbit, it's all about having fun, sharing your interest and passion for music with other people, learning and just becoming better at something that you simply love doing. So for me personally, I started rapping, writing songs, recording probably the worst songs ever recorded, but then again, I was just 13 years old. Then I actually moved on to learn how to play the piano. I was kind of late, I was like 16 years old, but I got obsessed with it. And for about 2 years, I played at least 46 hours a day. Pretty soon after, I started doing small gigs, obviously for free, and me and my friends, we pretty much went wherever a jam session was going on. Now, all this led me to music production. This was the obvious next step, and here is where I really fell in love with music. So I got inspired by a producer named Ryan Leslie, and his older studio videos made me want to pursue a career as a producer. So I started looking into like synthesizers and studio gear, and I dreamed about building my own studio one day. Now, this was actually a pivotal moment when I made like a conscious decision to pursue music as an actual career. And if you're watching this, then my guess is that this is probably where you are at right now. So let's bring this back to our solar system. Once you've made this decision, you're gonna look out to see what's possible. But this time, you start exploring not just creative opportunities, but also career opportunities. And on the outer planets, you can see from afar people who are extremely successful, selling beats, sample packs, working with industry artists, scoring movies, performing in stadiums. Maybe you watched a ton of tutorials from the same creator on YouTube and be like, I want to be like that guy. You can see the success. It's like all the stars shine brighter up there. It looks absolutely amazing, and you don't want anything else than to get out there too and be among those stars. Now, this is truly a defining moment. You've chosen your path. Now, you just need to figure out how to get there. However, what stands between you and your goals is this asteroid belt, which basically symbolizes the challenging journey you have to take to reach those outer planets. Now, this is a crucial phase where your determination and learning curve are put to the test. You will be having trouble navigating. At the beginning, you may have no idea how to push through, so you continue to educate yourself. However, now it's going to be more focused towards your specific goals. Guaranteed, you're going to run into a ton of challenges and roadblocks in the process. And while looking for advice, you don't always get the right advice, so you're getting misguided, which in some cases may result in missing windows of opportunity. You also encounter a ton of other people, competition. And there's a lot of clutter, a lot of noise, and let's face it, not everyone is going to be able to make it out there. So how do you get through this asteroid belt? Now, believe me, staying consistent is probably the worst advice someone could give you without the proper context. You see, doing the same thing over and over again but expecting a different outcome, isn't that the definition of insanity? My analogy explains this. Everything in the solar system, including the asteroid belt, is constantly moving. So what may be the path today may not be the same tomorrow. This means that you have to be flexible, willing to adapt, willing to change course, and accept that you're not going to beat every obstacle that you'll be facing, as long as you keep moving forward. Now, at the end of this video, I am going to give you some more practical tips based on how I was able to get through this. But first, let's talk about what happens when you do make it out there and find success in one of these areas. You see, honestly, in many aspects, life becomes a lot easier here. It's much easier to navigate through these different worlds up here. Think of it like the rich only get richer. I know it sounds unfair, but it's the direct result of being surrounded by these people. So look at my story, right? I've gone from setting beats to producing for bigger artists. I made music for TV shows. I didn't really do sample packs, but I do work with some of the biggest companies that do today. I've taught people through our courses, and every week I still do live shows as a musician. And it's not just me, you know, every successful producer that I know has a similar story. Jay, he used to rap, then he started selling beats, and then he started doing YouTube videos, and as a result of that, he's now seeing success in being a YouTuber, in selling sample packs, and getting placements. Ed, for example, he used to play in a band, then he tried selling beats, but ultimately he found success becoming a YouTuber. So this tells us that what you're doing today might not be the same things that you'll be doing tomorrow. So I want to give you a different, more extreme example now. So 2 years ago, I stopped all my activities as a music producer. I gave up on almost $200,000 a year as a music producer. I actually have a video coming out soon to tell you the full story. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, what I learned the hard way is that the further you make it out there, the less connected you feel to the reason that you started doing all of this in the first place. I literally felt disconnected to music. It's like I made it through this asteroid belt, but somewhere in here, I lost my passion for music along the way, and I was too far off from the source to be able to reconnect. So I chose to let go, which meant stepping back, reevaluating my path, technically going back to the basics. And because of that, I want to give you some words of advice based on my 20-year journey in music, and maybe, hopefully, this will help you move on to the next chapter of your own story. So first of all, you don't want to put a deadline on your success. You see, people ask me all the time, like, how long did it take before you sold your first beat? How long before you see results? I mean, look at this. I picked a solar system analogy for various reasons. It's space. Time is a relative concept here, and the same applies to building a successful music career. You cannot put a deadline on this. So if anything, this will only demotivate you. So if you think that you're not moving fast enough, you may want to try this approach instead. So in the military, they say, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. This is actually way more relevant. This emphasizes the importance of taking deliberate, well thought out actions rather than just rushing hastily into situations. The idea is that by moving slowly and methodically, you can avoid mistakes and perform tasks more efficiently and effectively, which ultimately leads to faster overall progress. What's also true is that you have to be flexible, ready to adapt, and always in a learning mindset. You see, if you're in this asteroid belt right now and you're struggling to push through, the best thing that you could do is keep learning. You should know at this point, it's no longer just about music, right? So what I would highly recommend is read books, study successful people, learn their habits and routines, find motivation in their stories, and kind of like take on the identity of what you wish to become and shape it as your own. Manifestation is actually a really powerful thing. You see, you're gonna need all of this if you want to be able to survive, even out there. So while you may not always find the direct answers to your questions, you'll learn from your own actions what works and what doesn't. And making progress, no matter how big or how small, it motivates you to keep going. This is actually what consistency looks like for me. Get 1% better every day, and one day a door will open. Now, something that worries me a lot lately is that producers aren't really mindful about the sacrifices that they make, and they kind of like underestimate the long-term consequences of their decisions. For example, a lot of producers these days sacrifice their favorite genre of music and replace that with something that they think is commercially more viable. So I know dozens of producers and artists, by the way, who found success in making the type of music that they hated doing, and they felt trapped because of that. Now, only a few of those are still here today. Most of them quit. Trust me, it's not sustainable and it's not worth it. Now let's bring back our solar system one more time. Always keep one foot in the exploration orbit. You see, alive in music is often fueled by hopes and dreams, right? It's a picture in your mind of what it could be like. It's often painted in your younger years when you're probably still exploring. So that picture is usually not yours, but it's someone else's. It's a vision crafted from external expectations, the successes that we see around us, and the glamorous portrayals of the music industry. However, these are borrowed dreams, and they may not align with our true aspirations or the realities of a music career. So you don't want to get caught up in it. So by keeping one foot in the exploration orbit, always seeking to explore and discover new territory, you may just stumble upon the next best thing. It may be different from your initial expectations, but it could be just as valuable. Now, I truly hope this has been valuable to you. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But there's one thing that we haven't really talked about yet, which is this diamond shape in the middle right here. You see, in the past 2 years, I've been on my own personal journey trying to find my place within the system that aligns with my purpose. Making this was part of my process. Now, I actually ended up right here, this diamond shape. That's me, or better said, that's my company, Heat. This is where I've been able to position us today, right in between some of the most influential people in our space, which we work with every day through our agency, people with successful careers in selling sample packs, selling beats, working with bigger artists, getting sync placements, all of that. But below that, we have a community of young talent, fresh blood, striving to push through. And every day we try to help these people reach their goals, currently through our online courses in the Heat Academy. However, I want to change this. You see, if you look at this, then you'll notice that we are actually in a very unique position. We are perfectly positioned between the success stories and those that are struggling but working hard to push through. So my goal is actually to leverage this position, bridging the gap between these two orbits. You see, there's so much knowledge and wisdom up there that I would love to share with our community. This means that I am actually changing the course of our company, Heat. So for the past weeks, I've been working on building a knowledge hub and an exclusive community for music producers, facilitating a platform where basically these two worlds come together, where people can connect with like-minded peers or even follow in the footsteps of those that they admire the most. I envision it as a place where there are like no more secrets and information is shared willingly to create equal opportunities for all. Honestly, this will be the biggest project that I've ever done to give something back to the producer space, but this time I'm inviting others to help me out build it because I want to do it right from the get-go. With your input and feedback, you can help me shape this and make it truly valuable to you, but also for the rest of the community. Now, I won't ask for too much. I'll provide all the resources. All I need from you is your voice. So if you want to help me build it, there is a link in the description. It's a Discord channel I set up where you can contact me directly, and I'm also be sharing more information about this project in there. Once again, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and drop your comments below.